Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's program. On behalf of my ministry and our executive director, Francesca Diaz, we thank you for tuning in tonight. My name is Ireta Martinez, and I'm a mother and a cancer awareness advocate. And I didn't pick cancer, cancer picked me.
God bless everyone. My name is Donovan Martinez, and it's an honor to be here on behalf of my ministry, where we're not afraid to have the tough conversations that everybody, might not feel comfortable to have. I am a cancer survivor. I was diagnosed 2 years ago, but I have not let this diagnosis slow me down. I have not let it take anything from my life. And I was able to reclaim my life, and I was able to reclaim my sense of self. I never let the diagnosis consume me. I wanted to be winning against it. And tonight in this program, we're going to speak a little bit about keeping a healthy balance, not just keeping a healthy balance with work, not just keeping a healthy balance with with life, but with a diagnosis as well. It's a diagnosis is something that can make you feel like your plans have all been torn down, like your life has been torn down. And it's something that can consume us. But what I've learned from my journey over the past 2 years, I want to share with you guys. And it doesn't necessarily have to apply to a cancer diagnosis, but to something that's going on in your life, something that's troubling you, something that is aiming to consume you and take you away from what's important in life. I want to show you the techniques that I've used and the experiences that I've had so that I can share with you how I reclaimed, myself, how I did not let myself be consumed, and how I found that healthy life balance.
Thank you, Donovan. So, as Donovan said, tonight we're going to be spending some time talking about the importance of keeping a well balanced, healthy mind and spirit after perhaps hearing you have cancer, or your child has cancer, or your loved one. It could be anyone, or perhaps it could be very well be any other type of diagnoses. My ministry has set aside the fourth Monday of every month so we could have conversations like the ones that we're going to have today and hope to raise awareness about cancer. We share our journey, but to also give hope to those who are currently fighting the illness, whatever that might be. It might not be helpful to you right now, but it might be in the future. It might not affect you personally, but it might affect a friend, a neighbor, um, a coworker, anyone. Anyone could be touched by cancer. And tonight, we hope that you'll take something out of this conversation that we're going to be having with you. So, Donovan, I want to start the conversation, and if you could please tell us what life looked like for you before you heard you have cancer.
So, my life before my cancer diagnosis was it was a time where I was just about to start things up. I had just finished my 4 years of school, my 4 years of college. I was just finally stepping out into the world, stepping into my first real opportunity, my first full time job. I was just fresh out of school. I was ready to start life, and I was ready to hit the ground running. I was at a high point. I felt great. I was very ready. I was prepared to hit the ground running and get started. Um, but when that diagnosis came, I felt like all of my plans had come crashing down. I felt like all the things that I saw in my future were no longer possible, that it wasn't a guarantee, but now it was a possibility, that it was something that I potentially couldn't reach anymore. I didn't know how far my diagnosis was going to go. I didn't know how far my condition was going to go. And I was just in a very vulnerable position. I didn't know what my future was going to hold. And I felt stuck. I felt very stuck. I felt very discouraged. I felt very hopeless at one point. And that's just being completely honest. And Some days are better than others. There were days where I felt like, I am going to beat this. I am going to get better. I am going to do this. But there were some days that were harder than others. And it's like, oh, I'm in this bed paralyzed. Am I ever going to walk again? Am I ever going to grab something again? Am I ever going to be able to type on a computer again and work a normal job? Am I ever going to be out of chemotherapy long enough to keep a job? All of these things were just racing through my mind and consuming it. But at one point, one of my doctors had told me, this isn't the end. This is just a pause. This is just a pause in your life. Your life does not end here. And since then, those words have stuck with me. These battles, these walls, these things that try to consume you, that try to get in your head and tell you that you're not good enough, that you're not able to, that you will never get higher from your current position, that you're not gonna grow. All of those things, they're just in your life as a pause. They're just in your life as a wall, something that you have to get over, something that you can get over, and something that I always believed that I can get over. And ever since she told me that, I saw the better things in life. I didn't think of the negatives. I stopped thinking about, am I ever going to be able to do this? Am I ever going to be able to do that? Will I ever get up out of this bed? Will this chemo ever end? And those thoughts changed to, I am going to get out of this bed. I am going to go back to work. I am going to start walking again. I am going to start typing again. I'm going to get better. And once I stopped letting those feelings of just self-doubt, of self-loathing, of uncertainty, once I left all those feelings behind and started, just thinking more positively, thinking, confirming this stuff, declaring it, I am going to get better. And just my whole attitude changed. I was motivated. I was taken out of a spot where I felt hopeless and I felt hopeful. And I knew that my future was something that I can attain, because this diagnosis was not the end. It was only a pause. And that's how I've taken these challenges that I've faced in life. It's just something that I have to get past. It's something I have to get over, because my future, I know and I declare that I'm going to have the future that I saw in my dreams, and that nothing is going to stop me from acquiring that dream. And, ever since I changed my whole attitude about that, things have just changed. And, I may not have, it may have been a while before I got back to that job. It may have been a while before I started, growing and moving again, but it came. It's not like it never happened. It just took a little bit. And that's perfectly okay in life. It's okay to take your time. It's okay to be a little behind your peers. That's something that I was worried about too. I was afraid of falling behind the people I went to school with, the people that I grew up with. I saw them acquiring things. I saw them going up. I saw them moving up. And I felt like I was stuck behind. I felt like I was falling behind, and I felt so hopeless because of that. But now I finally feel like I'm in a position where I have the chance to go up with my peers, where I have support, people supporting me, people wanting the best for me, people rooting for me. And I feel loved, I feel supported, and I feel like I'm finally in a position where I can be with them. I'm no longer at the bottom. I'm no longer waiting at the bottom. I'm right with them.
Thank you, Donovan. You've shared your side as a patient. I also want to take this opportunity to share my side as a mom. At one point I became a caregiver, right? As Donovan said, so for those that might not know, Donovan was diagnosed back in August of 2021. And it all started with neck pain that then went on to be, numbness on his left side. And then from there, a few days later, they found out that he had a tumor in his cervical spine that was compressing on his spinal cord, and it was affecting his nerves. And that was the reason why his half of the body was going numbed. He ended up having emergency surgery. They removed the tumor, and the following day he found out that he had cancer. So Donovan went from a perfectly healthy young adult who was independent. He was just finishing his college, had just started his first professional job, was independent, living on his own, to all of a sudden fully depending on mom, dad, and sister to do things for him. That was a big change for him, and it was also a big change for us as a family, for me as a mom. Um, I went from having a fully independent young adult to having to care for him. Um, it was really, really hard to see. It's hard to hear your child has cancer. Um, this whole time, you know, so many things were going through my mind. Um, I was worried. I was worried not only about the diagnoses, I was worried about the future. I was worried about treatment. I was also worried about, his mobility. Is he going to be able to walk? Is he going to leave the hospital on a wheelchair? There were so many things that were going through my mind. Um, I still remember when he was transferred to a hospital here in Boston, where one of his doctors told him, "Your case really scared us." Um, it was a really complex case. For those that might not know, he was initially diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, which is a form of a blood cancer. Um, and that was the initial treatment that he received. From there, they continued to do testing, and his diagnosis was revised to Ewing sarcoma. Ewing sarcoma is a type of cancer that develops in the long bones and also in the soft tissue. The site of his tumor was very rare, and treatment was complicated, um, and his case was very unique. So I still remember that day where one of his providers came in and told us, that they were really scared when they heard about his case. Um, we knew from day one that we were in the right place for treatment. But hearing that from one of his providers was also very worrisome. Um, not knowing what his treatment it's going to look like, not knowing what the future holds, but also hearing that his case was very unique, and it was complicated. So again, so many thoughts went through my mind, and like Donovan said, his life was pretty much put on hold. As a young adult, and our life as a family was also put on hold. But we never lost hope. We were a family that it's it's big on faith. We knew that God has spoken. We knew that he had told us that he was leading the way, and we pretty much um, held to that, or hold on to that word. But it was a very scary time. Donovan, can you talk to us about some of the strategies that you've used these past 2 years, that have helped you remain focused and centered, and that has helped you keep a positive outlook in life despite, the fact that we're not going to hide it, right? You had cancer, you're currently in treatment. So what are some of the strategies that you've used to, make sure that you remain focused and with a positive outlook in life?
I think one of the biggest things for me was realizing that my diagnosis does not define me. I never let my life just be this diagnosis. I never wanted to be, oh, there's Donovan, that's the kid with cancer. Oh, there's Donovan, that's the kid who's always miserable. That's the kid who's always sick. I never wanted to be that. I never wanted to let cancer be my story because it's not my story. It's just part of the process. And that treating it that way, treating that diagnosis that way has just healed my mind in so many ways and has kept a positive outlook because I know that it's not the end all be all in my life. I'm in a very fortunate and in a very blessed position that I'm able to say that. It is not the end all be all, and it will never be the end all be all. It's not the end of my story. It's just part of it. It's just one page. And treating it like that and taking power over it instead of letting it take power over you has just been so positive for me because something as dark, something as scary as cancer is something that it comes to destroy. It comes to it comes to take away your hope, your motivation, your strength, your happiness, your peace. But if you take it back and you say, no, I'm not going to let this be the end of me. I'm just going to this is just going to be a part of me, a part of my story, a part of my process, a part of my testimony. That's when you're taking that back. That's how you take your life back instead of it letting it take life from you. And just staying focused on the future. I don't want to think about yesterday. I don't want to think about the date of my diagnosis. I don't want to think about all the troubleships and all the hardships, all the trouble that I've been through. I want to think about tomorrow. I want to think about making it to tomorrow at least. Making it 10 years from now, 15 years from now, however old I get, I just want to think about making it to tomorrow. Because that's how I know like there's still hope for me. There's still possibilities for me. There's still opportunities for me. As long as I still have tomorrow, all the time that I've spent worrying about this diagnosis, all the time that I've thought my life was on pause, as long as I have tomorrow, I can fix that. I can be better. I could do better. I have tomorrow is the opportunity for me to grow. It just having that mindset, that mentality has helped me so much because a lot of the battle is not just physical. Cancer is not a battle that's just chemotherapy, that's just side effects, that's just pains and pressures and burns and scars. It's mental. The effect that heavy diagnosis has on your mind is something that is tough to battle mentally. Just the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of self-doubt, losing your hope, your confidence. It is such a battle in the mind, and I feel like a lot of people have to, that it gets overlooked. You may go up to someone with cancer and be like, how's the treatments going? How's the chemotherapy going? Oh, are you nauseous? But why don't you go and ask them, how are you feeling mentally? Are you okay? Is everything okay? Are you feeling okay? Is your head in the right space? Are you in a safe space? Do you have that support? Because, the battle just goes beyond physical, and just having a positive mindset, although it sounds like it's a little bit, it's not some wonder cure that I wish it was, but just, a positive outlook and a positive mind. I think that the effects of that go beyond just mental too. I think it's physically, I feel so much better when I'm hopeful. I don't want to sit, in a corner and think about what I've been stuck with for the rest of my life and all of these chemotherapy treatments, all of this radiation, all of these tests. I just think about, oh, I want to try this out. I want to try that out in the future. I want to try to be in this position. I want to try to go for a walk. I want to try to go for a run. I want to try a new food place. I want to read a new book. Just replacing those feelings of doubt and sadness and those feelings that a diagnosis can bring, and replacing them with positive feelings and, hopeful things, has just worked for me personally. And just, thinking about what I want to do tomorrow. Maybe I want to watch a movie. Maybe I want to read a new book, start a new show, listen to some new music. It's just filling my mind and filling my time with my hobbies, with my passions, with something that I feel like I want to pour my heart into. Because once you start making yourself busy and keeping your mind busy like that, you start to forget about the bad things, about the bad feelings that you had, about the bad times that you had when you received that diagnosis. In the beginning, when I received it, it was just, oh, my life is on pause. I have to catch up. I can't fall behind. I can't, I don't know what I'm going to do. And now it's like, I'm so excited to wake up. I'm so excited to go to bed and know that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and get this done. I, I've been able to go back to work, and now I'm thinking about, oh, how am I going to deal with this situation at work? How am I going to deal with this situation at work? Oh, I want to do my best to go up. I want to do my best to get promoted. It's stuff that's like motivating me and making me realize that my life is not just my diagnosis. I'm so motivated to do more and to do better, and to go to dive deeply into my passions and in the other things in my life, and just making new experiences, making new memories. I want to go try this new food in this new area that I haven't been in before. I want to try this new type of movie. I want to listen to a different type of music, something that I'm not used to. I want to try reading. I haven't done it in a while. Maybe this will be something that I can start. Or start writing, just find something to be passionate about. Find something that gives you peace and protect that peace. Find something that makes you feel motivated, that makes you feel passionate, like you just want to pour your all into. Because once you find that thing, and once you find something to focus on, it's like all the bad things, all the cancer diagnosis, all of those bad thoughts, they kind of just get put in the back burner, like they should be. Because your life is more than your diagnosis. Your life is more than your sickness. Your life is more than your hardships. Your life is more than your challenges. And it's more. There is so much more in life waiting for you if you're willing to go and seek it. And that's what it's all about. I just want to continue seeking those experiences, seeking those new things, and that's what keeps me motivated. It makes me forget that I'm someone with a cancer diagnosis, but it just makes me feel like I'm not a cancer patient. I'm a cancer survivor. I survived, and I'm going to continue to survive. And just that positive outlook, finding something to be passionate about, finding something to focus on, just gave me so much more hope for the future. And that's just a couple of the things that I've done to keep myself busy.
Yeah. So the importance of setting goals, and just looking at the future. It's very easy to go into that dark place. When you hear, and now I'm speaking, as a mom. When you hear your child has cancer, it's so easy to go into that dark place and start thinking those negative thoughts, and what's going to happen, with my child. Does he have a future? It's very important to, as he said, as a patient, to set goals, to set targets, something to look forward to. As some mom, as a caregiver, it's also important to surround yourself with people who are supportive. People who understand what you're going through. People who are going to help you pray. People who are going to give you that push that you need. You want to surround yourself with people who are not going to be what I would call, downers. You want to surround yourself with people who are going to tell you, you know what, you got this. God got this for you. Throughout this 2 years, I've built great friendships. I have a great friend, Nancy, who also has a young adult cancer survivor, Ewing sarcoma cancer survivor, and she's my go-to person. She's a mom like I am, knows all the anxieties and knows all the worries that a cancer mom goes through. And she is my go-to person when I find myself in that place where I it's a dark place. You have faith, and you think about the future, but you're also going to have those days where it's the dark days, right? um and it's not something that we talk about openly, right? Because we want to be strong for our kid. We want to be there for him, but we also have our dark days where we're not okay. And it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have those days where you're having doubts. um so again, it's good to surround yourself with people who are going to help you pray, and are going to be there for you and understand what you're going through. And it's important to build your support system. So Donovan, tell us how your cancer diagnosis has helped you develop a stronger sense of empathy, and stronger sense of emotional intelligence.
Um, I'd say that my cancer diagnosis has definitely taught me more about that, it's not just me. It's not just me going through these things. It's not just it's taught me that the things that I encounter and the things that I see, there's a lot of moving pieces behind it. It's just like, for example, in my care, you may see like a nurse, you may see someone, a doctor, you may see someone, coming to clean your room, you may see someone coming to bring you food, and it's like you may just see them come and go, but there's so much behind that. There's so many moving pieces behind things, and it's just made me think about my how my actions and how my emotions, how they affect other people, and realizing that it's not just me in my own little world. I'm just part of everybody's life in some way, shape, or form. And the way that I carry myself towards people, the way that I interact with people, that can have an effect on them. And it's just taught me to be better, to be kinder, to be more patient, because it's made me think, what would I do if I was in their position? They're just people trying their best, trying to make it through another day. And I want to contribute to that. I don't want to make their day harder. I don't want to make their life harder. I want to try to have as much of a positive impact as I can on people, so that they can carry that with them and share that kindness as well. It's just taught me that my battle is not mine alone, and the things that I say to someone, the way that I treat somebody, that's something that could really stick with someone. You never know how the things you say are going to affect somebody, how long it will stick with them, how it will shape their sense of self, how it will shape their future. So it just taught me to think a lot more. It taught me to ground myself, to center myself, and realize that you know it's important to treat people with kindness. It's important to keep the peace. It's important to just think about more than yourself. Think about yourself as just a piece of something, not you're the main character in your life, that your life only revolves around you, and that you can act and do anything in the way that you want. No, it's you're a little piece of someone's life. No matter how big the interaction is, you're now a part of that person's life, and it's just important to treat them with kindness and respect, and put that energy out into the world that you want to come back in.
So So there's a saying, out there, be kind. Everyone is fighting a battle. Um, we know the definition of that, right? You might see a smile. If you ask me, I might say I'm doing okay. But as I said before, there are days that I'm not okay. So it's important to be kind to others. Everyone out there, it's fighting a battle. Whether it's an illness, could be a financial situation, it could be a family um, situation, whatever that might be. It's important to be empathetic. It's important to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and help them, um, by being kind. Sometimes a smile goes a long way. A hug, or by simply saying things will be okay. Um, it goes a long way. For me, it has taught me to be patient. Working, I've been in healthcare for over 19 years, and I've been dealing and helping, not dealing. I've been helping patients in whatever environment that might be. It has really taught me to be patient. Um, and it's unfortunate that it took me all this time to really realize that I had to be a little bit more patient. So it's taught me to be a little bit more empathetic. Because again, everyone out there, it's fighting a battle, whatever that might be. Um, Donovan, can you share some of your learnings, from these last 2 years? Some of your accomplishments, if some of your goals.
I would say that my definitely one of my goals was just to build back up the future that I thought was lost.
Mhm.
I just wanted to get into a healthy routine again. I wanted to feel hopeful again, and just uh, build back up the future that I thought I had when I graduated from school and when I was about to start life. And I've started that by just getting my mind right, just being focusing on what's important, keep surrounding myself with people who make me want to better myself, and just removing all of the people that maybe don't want the best for me, that are maybe slowing me down, that they don't want to see me grow. And just removing those people from my life, but also surrounding myself with people who want me to better myself, has just been such a positive impact on my life. And one of those goals that I had was eventually going back to work again. For a long time, it was such a battle, because if it wasn't the long hours of chemotherapy, having to get chemotherapy Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 hours a day, every single day, and just not leaving time to go back to work, or whether it was the side effects and it was, oh, my stomach, I feel sick to my stomach, or I feel nauseous, or I feel tired, or I feel bone pain, just not being able to work because of that. And one of the things that I really wanted to do, and one of the goals that I really wanted to reach, was going back to work. I feel like that would be a victory for me, because I lost that first job that I had due to this diagnosis. I lost that first real step into the world, and just being able to build for myself. And fortunately, I'm in a position where I'm very blessed that recently I was able to go back to work, and I was able to go work in the same even in the same department that treated me in the past, the same department that had handled one of the biggest things in my care, a surgery. And just being able to go back to work in that same place was such a blessing. Having that door open for me again, not as a patient, but as a professional, was such an eye opener, such a blessing. And just being able to give back to other people that were in my position is an even bigger blessing. I'm able to build towards my dream. I'm able to walk towards my dream and be of service to people who are in the same position as me. I can't think of a more perfect way to go back to work. Not just to a job that I'm going to work and look at the clock until I go home, but something that I'm going to feel passion behind, something that I'm able to put. These 2 years of experience have just filled me with such a passion, just wanting to give back, and being able to have that job as an outlet to do that was such a blessing. And it taught me that when God has something planned for you, he'll make it work. Trust in him. Don't let yourself be consumed by self-doubt, which is something that I've done a lot of times. I've let myself be consumed by those feelings and let myself be consumed by the negativity. But when I just let go and I trusted God, God put the pieces together. When I was worried about picking myself up, God just picked me up and put the pieces back together. And being able to acquire that job in the place that I did, doing the things that I'm able to do, was just a testament to that. And another goal that I have that I'm hoping to reach soon is to go back to school and just, educate myself more and to grow more. And that's something that, fingers crossed, is something that I can achieve and something that I feel comfortable pursuing. Before, when I was first diagnosed, I was in a position where I felt like that was something that was not attainable anymore. I was being told that maybe to rearrange my plans, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this in the future. But no, like now I'm in a position where I can do that. Maybe not now, because I'm getting used to, creating a work-life balance and trying not to, focus all of my attention into work. But eventually that is something that I want to achieve, and something that is very possible in the future, is to go back to school. Just but the goals in your life, they don't have to be huge ones either. They could be small ones. Today, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go for a walk. Maybe you haven't walked in a while. Just setting a goal like that and, having something that you want to attain is something that is so crucial and so important to recovery. And just, I'm going to visit a family member. I'm going to go wish a friend, I'm going to go wish a friend well. I'm going to go check on them. I'm going to send them a text. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, is everything going well? Just like setting small goals like that to keep up with people, to visit people, to support people. It's just those little goals. Once you start setting up for them, and once you start acquiring those little victories, it's positive from there.
Amen. God has been good. Yo ha sido bueno. Yo ha sido bueno. So, fast forward, to today, you're still in treatment, doing remarkably well. And, to God be the glory. It's all about him. He's been good. He's been merciful. And he's blessed you in so many ways, so many different ways. You're responding well to treatment, and he continues to give you strength. As you shared, you're back to work. You set that as a goal. I think a little bit over a year ago. That's when you set that goal, and he helped you accomplish it. When we continue to pray for him to give you strength, so you can continue to achieve all your goals. You've already shared how this journey and this experience has given you a purpose. It's something that, as a family, it's given all of us a purpose. It's all a matter of taking the journey and making something out of it. Turning a dark time into something bright, something that can help others. you know, we've this journey has really given us a purpose. And you know, some people might think it's a little crazy, um, you know, and we've heard, you know, from from people, you know, who've asked us, how are you still smiling? You know, how are you still, you know, so positive, and you know, why, how, you know, how are you getting through? Um, my answer, it's always going to be God. You know, he's the one that is making this possible, the one and only, you know, the Almighty. With Him, you know, things are going to be okay. Um, you know, we've been able to take this journey and this experience, and you know, find ways to help others. You know, I want to, you know, publicly thank Francesca for giving us this opportunity with Mind Ministry, to share our journey as a family. For Donovan to share his cancer journey as a patient. Um, you know, our hope is that we are giving someone, you know, that hope, to keep on moving forward. Again, it doesn't have to be a cancer diagnosis. It could be any type of situation that you're going through. You know, we our hope is that by hearing our story and our journey, and how God has been great throughout, you know, this whole journey, that it would give you hope. Uh, you know, as Donovan was sharing, before, um, you know, doors have opened, and again, the whole intention here has always been from day one to share with people, you know, how great God is, um, and how faithful He is. You know, doors have opened for him. Doors have opened for, you know, for the whole family. Again, a door to help others. Um, you know, we use every opportunity that we get. You know, every conversation that we have with people. You know, it's always about Him, about God. You know, and how good He's been. You know, throughout this 2 years. You know, our lives completely changed 2 years ago, and it's been for good. You know, cancer came to change our lives for good. So, any closing thoughts, Donovan? Anything that you want to share with our listeners?
Um, I just wanted to give my thanks to Mind Ministry for giving us a platform to be able to share our testimony, where I'm able to share my story, where we're able to, you know, where we get to connect with people on another level. And I just hope that, you know, any of the things that I say, any of the things that I've been through in my journey, that if it could give someone one thing, I hope that it would give them hope. That, you know, that your diagnosis, your sickness, your troubles, your difficulties, your that wall in your life is not, it's never going to define you. It should never stop you. It's not the end of your story, but just a part of it. And I hope that my story, or any of the things that I say, are able to resonate with someone. And you know, if that's ever the case, then I'll feel happy and I'll feel peace. And I'm going to work my hardest. I'm going to continue to do my best to make sure that, you know, I can live and show others that it's possible to live with a diagnosis like this, that this isn't the end all be all. There is life beyond cancer. There is life beyond the diagnosis. And that's what I wanted to leave you guys with tonight, that just set those goals for yourself. think of yourself as more than what doctors want to tell you you are, what these physicians, what these nurses, what they want to tell you. They want to tell you what you are, but just know that you're more than that. You're more than your diagnosis. You're more than your struggle. You're more than your fight.
Amen. So we want to close by saying that we hope that tonight's conversation has been helpful, and that it will give someone hope to continue to live life and to remain focused and with a positive outlook, that is, in a life that is centered around faith, and hope. There is hope. Mientras hay vida hay esperanza. So we thank you for tuning in tonight. We encourage you to tune in every Monday at 8:30 p.m. And just tune in to listen to the different topics that Mind Ministry brings to this platform. And we'll be on again the fourth Monday in December. And again, our hope is to bring hope to someone out there listening. So we thank you again for listening, and have a good night, and God bless you.